I'm doing pop culture, entertainment, things like that. Of course, following Marilyn Manson when I can. And this here's from Rolling Stone from January 24th, 2023. It's called Exclusive. Marilyn Manson, Esme Bianco settle sexual assault lawsuit. Miss Bianco has agreed to resolve her claims against Brian Warner and Marilyn Manson Records Inc. in order to move on with her life and career, Game of Thrones actress lawyer says. Now, let's note, she has a career like all of us have a career. It's just a very regular flatline career. And I think that's an important thing to throw out there. My theory is, in order to maybe boost up that career, she might have been involved in this, but that's my silly little opinion. Actress Esme Bianco and Marilyn Manson have reached an out-of-court settlement for the sexual assault lawsuit she filed against him and his business, Marilyn Manson Records, in 2021. The actress who appeared on Game of Thrones alleged the singer, whose real name is Brian Warner, had R-worded and battered her sexually. She also claimed he had violated California human trafficking laws. The terms of the agreement are unknown. Miss Bianco has agreed to resolve her claims against Brian Warner and Marilyn Manson Records in order to move on with her life and career, her lawyer, J. L. Wagner, tells Rolling Stone, which is kind of mysterious because Ashley Morgan Smithline also had her case dismissed, and we find out she has no case. So the theory I had all along for the last year or two is the more people that allege Marilyn Manson did something, the more evidence we should have. That's flat out common sense. Anyone who's thinking critically and fair should agree that the more accusers, the more evidence. If 100 women came out, there'd be people whose minds are stuck on numbers. And they're like, wow, 100 women can't be wrong. That's it. He did it. But the fact is, with 100 women, you'd have a lot of evidence. At least 5, 10 of them should have some evidence. What we had here was multiple women and zero evidence. Let's keep going. And Howard King, Manson's lawyer, also confirms that this is what went down. Bianca was one of more than a dozen women to come forward with allegations of sexual abuse against Warner after actress Evan Rachel Wood claimed on Instagram that Warner had abused her in February 2021. Now, the thing with Evan Rachel Wood is she can't just sneak out of it and just kind of fade away. She's got a documentary out there. She's got huge allegations out there. She's in a lawsuit that he's suing her for, and it looks like he's got a lot of evidence against her. So it won't be so easy for her to just kind of back up and say, okay, that's it. This is resolved. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there when that court case comes. And I think at that point, at least for the public, there's going to be a lot more people who kind of open their eyes and they're like, yeah, you know what? Just because Marilyn Manson looks like this and said some stuff in some songs in a book doesn't mean he did it in reality. Bianco, who with Wood co-created the Phoenix Act, which expands the rights for survivors of domestic violence, was the first woman to file a lawsuit against him. Mr. Warner used drugs, force, and threats of force to coerce sexual acts from Miss Bianco on multiple occasions, the filing said. Mr. Warner R-worded Miss Bianco in or around May 2011. The complaint also alleged that Warner had sexually assaulted her while she was unconscious and unable to consent. It also detailed more ways in which he had allegedly abused her. These acts include spanking, biting, cutting, and whipping Miss Bianco's buttocks, breasts, and genitals for Mr. Warner's sexual gratification, all without the consent of the plaintiff. I can imagine that might have all happened, but the whole part of it is the consent part. There's really no way to know except for he said, she said. In the best case scenario, for either side, you'd have to be in the middle with, I don't know. But some people aren't. Some people hardcore think Manson did it. They're convinced. And that's what's not exactly sitting well with me. And it continues. The actress had been living in London when she met the singer, and Warner, she claimed, enticed her to move to Los Angeles to star in a music video that never came out, to act in a movie that never happened. Well, guess what? Not every production actually happens. It happens with video games, movies, TV shows. Sometimes they're produced, they don't actually come out. So even if I give her this, that he did that, he still might have had the right intentions. We've got the Warner Bros. Batgirl movie that was like 70, $80 million. They canceled. So, did anybody move around for that? I'm sure they did. It was a huge production. I'm sure people moved, probably even from different countries, different states, to work for Warner Brothers on the Batgirl movie. Then it was canceled. Is that trafficking? No. That's getting a job and the production doesn't go through, and now you've moved to do that job, and the job's over. Pretty simple. By inserting himself in Miss Bianco's visa process, Mr. Warner was able to control Miss Bianco by threatening to withdraw support if she displeased him, the suit said. Wait, couldn't she have just moved back? I came to Japan with a visa. My company supported that visa. I could have just found another company to do so, or I could have just moved back. I mean, is going back to your home country after a short period of working in a foreign country a threat? Pretty big gray area. She also claimed that at one point he locked her in a bedroom to prevent her from fleeing. She alleged he also made her work for free, making him food, cleaning his apartment, and singing on an album, all of which violated the state's trafficking laws. The suit originally named Warner's former manager, Tony Culia, as a defendant, but his name was later removed. Yeah, I'm gonna think forcing someone to sing on an album is probably against the trafficking laws. I'm sure it says it right there as the first thing about trafficking laws is forcing someone to sing on an album. Makes sense to me. Okay, let's keep going. And they say some things about Ilma Gore and Evan Rachel Wood, and to be honest, there's a lot of regurgitation here. This article's pretty new, almost brand new, and they're kind of catching people up on what happened, so I'm not going to go through all this, and I can only read the R word so many times. They also mention Wood's appearance on The View. Of course, The View. The View's always very skewed towards one political side. They did have Ted Cruz on, like him or not. I still think it was a good thing to show that at least they were having the other side talk, but generally, they really lean towards one side of politics, which is on the side of Wood and Amber Heard, by the way, and things like that. So The View to me, meh. Anyway, that's it. I will say it's not the worst article from Rolling Stone. I don't see too much smear here. There's facts in here. Not that the facts are actually represented correctly. For example, I think a lot of the things that are factual were allegations. They weren't actually facts that went out there and happened. However, the article here isn't so bad to catch up people. I've seen a lot worse from them. Let me know what you think in the comments. Doing pop culture. My thumb keeps popping up on the screen here. I guess it's just the angle I'm sitting at because I want people to see my American Eagle shirt here. Wait, okay. I can't even present the eagle correctly. As you could tell, busy morning. Rant done. If you don't subscribe here, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.